I'm Ceci Caballero, and today we're going to see a topic that I like a lot and probably you have heard about before. I think the topic is comparatives and superlatives. So probably you know it already, or you want to practice some more. I don't know. Well, whatever your intention is, I think it's gonna come great, right? I'm going to ask you to observe the white car and the yellow car, okay? And to think about whatever comes to your mind when you see them, whether if it's the color, how many years does it have or it must have, about the speed, different just things, okay? Now we have the same two pictures, and now we have words below, and we have fast, and then we have modern, modern, which is really similar to the Spanish word. Then we got old, like sometimes our grandparents are old, or some buildings are old. New, which is the opposite. Slow, we got slow. Then we got pretty, which is like beautiful. Ugly, which is the opposite. Clean, and we got dirty, okay, which is the opposite of. We have clean, and then the opposite is dirty. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to go for paper and a pencil or pen or whatever, and you can write these words into columns, whether if they refer to the white car or if they refer to the yellow car, okay? All right. Remember that if you're not ready for the answer and you know that I'm about to tell you the answer, you can pause the video as many times as you like, okay? I'm gonna go ahead to the next slide. We got, for the white car, we got old, we got slow, we got ugly, and then we got dirty. Then we got, for the yellow car, we got fast, we got modern, we got new, we got pretty, and we got clean. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you to think how we can compare each other using those words. If the words change, if the words stay the same, okay? And that's what we're gonna see on the next slide. Well, on the first car, well, we have the first is older than the second one. Older, not old. The first is slower than the second one. The first is uglier than the second one, and the first is dirtier than the second one. Okay. Then we get to see the sentences there are for the second car. Okay, can you start imagining? You're gonna have some time to practice later on. Okay. The second is newer than the first one. The second is faster than the first one. The second is prettier than the first one. The second is cleaner than the first one, and the second is more modern than the first one. As you can see, well, all of them end in ER except for the last one. What must be the difference? We got the original words that probably were shorter, and then we got modern that has 2 syllables, but we're gonna see the rules in a bit, okay? I advise you that on the next part that we're gonna see like the structure they use and everything that comes up with that thing that we call grammar. You take some notes because you're gonna need them at the end, and they're gonna be useful for the rest of, well, your English practices, okay? Now, use the comparative form to talk about how two nouns are different. We have to remember that nouns can be people, can be objects, can be animals, can be places, okay? And we got an example. The first is older than the second one when we were talking about the cars, okay? If an adjective has 1 syllable, add ER to the end. If it ends in E already, just add R. Tall, taller, long, longer. So in there we added ER. Now the other two already end in E. So nice, nicer, late, later, okay? If an adjective ends in 1 vowel, remember that the vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and 1 consonant, which are the rest of the letters of the alphabet, like B, C, D, G, Z, T, whatever. Write the consonant again, then write ER. okay? So there are 2 steps. But never write a W twice. So it's not WW, that's not correct. And we have examples of how to do it, and we have examples of how not to do it, okay? We got big, bigger with double G, slim, slimmer with double M, new, newer with only one W, thin, thinner with double N, and slow, slower with one W, okay? My brother is thinner than me. That is actually true, so it's kind of sad, okay? Good for him. Now, if an adjective has 2 syllables and ends in Y, change the Y to I and add ER. That sounds kind of odd, but I always like to give examples so it's kind of clearer, you know? So we have funny, funnier. That's what you have to do. The Y disappears, becomes I, and then ER, okay? Which of these books is funnier? And then some adjectives have irregular comparative forms. These are listed below. From good, we're not gonna grade gooder, but we're gonna grade better. And bad, worse. And then far further, okay? These are gonna be really useful, especially the first 2, because they're really common and you're gonna use them while writing and you're gonna use them while speaking. So that's something that you need to take in account. So I advise you to write them as well, okay? Because they're special. All right. Now we have one more car, okay? We got the first one that is the same. We have the second one that is the yellow one, and then we have the third one that looks like that comes from the future, okay? Now we got the words old, modern, fast, and I want you to try to make a comparison in your head and to think about how the speech will go, okay? Ready? All right. The first one is the oldest. So it's not older, it's the oldest. The second one is the fastest. And the third one is the most modern. Again, that word keeps on having like a different structure. And we're gonna see why as well. Okay, so EST, no ER. This is important because now we're comparing 3 cars, not just 2. Okay. Use the superlative form to describe something that is greater than any other thing. Okay? The Amazon is the longest river in the world. So we think about all the rivers, and this is the longest one. Okay? Helen is the most intelligent student in the class. So she has big brains, and there are like 30 students, and well, she's at the top, you know? Grade the before all superlatives. That's really important because if not, the sentence is not complete, okay? If an adjective is short and has 1 syllable, add est to the end. If it ends in e already, just add st. This is really cool because it actually relates to the other rules that we saw. We just think about est now instead of er, okay? So keep that in mind. And we're gonna change the word more for another word. All, the oldest, fast, the fastest. Now, the rule about the vowels and the consonants is the same. No double W, I know, and, well, double consonants in the other ones, okay? Big, the biggest, thin, the thinnest, slim, the slimmest, new, the newest, and slow, the slowest, but no double W. It's like a tongue twister. Then the biggest cat in the world is the lion with double G, okay? Then we got the rule with the Y. So the Y has to change, and it has to change into an I, remember? And then in this case, we add est if it's a short word. So we got the funny, the funniest, pretty, the prettiest. Is the prettiest car I have ever seen. So probably you're thinking about whether it's the silver or the yellow one. I don't think you're just thinking about the white one. For other adjectives with 2 or more syllables, don't add est, but we're gonna use the most instead of more, okay? So this is kind of my secret. When I was your age, I learned this topic and it was too much information. So at the end, I will sum it up for you so you can make more notes, and eventually you're gonna come to find a way that is easy for you. Okay. We got interesting. Yeah, that's a long word. And the most interesting and modern. We have talked about this word. The most modern. Okay. It's the most modern car I have ever seen. Probably you're thinking about the silver one. Okay, some adjectives that have irregular superlative forms as they did with the comparative forms. So we said that good is not gooder and it's not the goodest, but it's the best. I'm sure that you have heard this word before. And then we have bad, and bad is not the baddest, but it's the worst. And then far has to do with distance, yeah. The first, okay? Now it's a moment to practice, okay? I don't know if you're familiar with these two guys. If you're not, I don't know in what world you live in. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, they're really popular and they are part of the Avengers. Here's Captain America with the shield, and there's Iron Man, okay? So we're going to practice, okay? Here are some sentences. Captain America is, and then we have a word in the parentheses. We have a word in the parentheses in every sentence. So I'm going to ask you to just write the number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just write how the adjective that is in the parentheses will be if you are trying to compare Captain America and Iron Man all the time, okay? Then while you work, I'm going to tell you some things as well. The word than, can you see it? THAN. It's repeated, okay? It's repeated through the sentences because as you use the when you are comparing between 3 or more, then here we use than, okay? Now we have old, we have rich, yeah, which is a word that hasn't been mentioned during this presentation. We have strong, okay? We got funny, funny, and we got powerful. It comes from power, okay? So in there probably it should have been parentheses, but I think you get the idea, okay? If you're ready, then don't pause the video because I'm going to tell you what the answers were, okay? All right. Captain America is older than Iron Man. I know that he looks younger, but if you're a fan of the Avengers, you know that Captain America looks like that because he has been frozen for so many years and then he came back. So he's like, I don't remember, but he's like 70 something or more years old. And Iron Man, even now, if he looks older, he's not that old. Okay. Iron Man is richer than Captain America. He has a lot of money, okay? So that's something that you must know as well if you have watched the movies, okay? Captain America is stronger than Iron Man because he actually has like the shield and it was like a soldier, okay? And Iron Man, he just has like this very cool suit, but he as a person, he's not really strong. Iron Man is funnier than Captain America. He has like this very dark sense of humor and it's kind of, I find it like really funny. Who is more powerful? In here, we're just creating a question and also works. Okay, who is more powerful, Captain America or Iron Man? Okay, and we can also do that with comparatives, like to set, like to start a discussion or something. That can work too. Okay, now, we got to have another character, one more character, which is Thor, okay? He might be my favorite, so I'm not gonna deny it, okay? Make sentences using the following adjectives in the superlative form. Okay, so we got old, which we already know, they're the same adjectives. Rich, strong, funny, and powerful, okay? And in case you are not familiar with the characters yet, the names are down there. Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. Why? Because I'm going to ask you to write your own sentences and this includes your opinion. Okay, probably my answers are not going to be the same as yours. Probably you don't really know the characters and you're just gonna write your answers according to what you see. And that's okay. I mean, we're just practicing. The deal here is that like we need to practice the structure, and that's okay. All right. So I'm gonna go to my answers, and if you're not ready, then I advise you to pause the video. Possible answers. Thor is the oldest person here. If you haven't watched the movies, you couldn't tell this either, but he is a god, so he is like thousands and thousands of years. He doesn't look like so, but he's the oldest person here by far. Iron Man has more money, so he's the richest. In here, I'm making like a compound sentence. It's not that flat, you know, because I could say Iron Man is the richest, but then I wanted to just mix it up a little bit. Thor is the strongest Avenger. And in here I added Avenger because I thought that it was well, a good detail, but even if you don't want to add it, you don't have to, you know, like you can say Thor is the strongest. The three are funny, but Iron Man is the funniest of all. And in here I'm also making what I did before, which is like we're in a compound sentence, so it has like a little bit of more of my opinion. But the important thing is the things that are in yellow, okay? Captain America is the most powerful, okay? Now, let's sum it up. In conclusion, comparatives are used between two nouns, yeah, that we practice is between Captain America and Iron Man, right? And then superlatives are used between three or more nouns, which is when I ask you to think about Thor as well, so we had three of them. When the words are short, one syllable, they end in, if you're talking about the comparative form, is ER, and if you're talking about the superlative, is EST, okay? Comparative 2, superlative 3. So I'm gonna do this so it's kind of clear in your head, okay? Once we go like through the facts, okay? When the words are long, 2 or more syllables, they end in more, or they don't end, but they just have it like just before the adjective, okay? That was my bad, okay? And superlative, the most, okay? Superlatives. Then we got keywords in each, in the comparatives, as I told you, we need to use than, okay? And the superlative, we use the. We're gonna say Thor most powerful. No, Thor is the most powerful. Double the consonant in some cases, such as big, bigger, and superlative, the biggest, okay? And change the Y for the I. Funny, funnier, superlative, funny, the funniest, okay? Special words are the ones that like were like exceptions, good, bad, and far. So in the comparative form, we got better, worse, and further. And then we had in the superlative, we got the best, the worst, and the furthest, okay? Then I'm gonna give you a little bit of homework. This is optional, so don't feel like nervous or stressed. Think about more ways to describe these characters, okay? If you like the Avengers, then you would like to describe these characters and the other Avengers that are there. There are so many. And you can even like include other characters that are related to them in the movies, okay? Compare and contrast them. That means like see their differences and see how they are similar, and then get to use the structure, okay? Think about other characters you like and how they might be different, and you could practice comparatives and superlatives, okay? And write your ideas in the comments. If you have the opportunity, I would love to see some of your sentences in the video, okay? So it was a pleasure. It was my pleasure, okay? I hope I was really helpful, and I hope to see you soon, right? Goodbye.